Welcome to Frankly Speaking with Dr. Wade. This show was created for and inspired by the thousands of patients I've served. So it's time for me to speak up and speak out on their behalf. With a wide range of experts, we bring you weekly insights diving deep into topics of controversy to bust through the sugarcoating that keeps you and your family stuck in the mainstream. What if you were the last one to know? Wow, what's that even mean? This episode is about being the last to know about what some of your gifts are, what some of your strengths are, what some of your talents are. Now, many of us are struggling daily with certain aspects of our life, whether it's fulfillment in our occupation, doing what we love, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your health, whether it's spiritually being disconnected or more connected and growing in those areas. It's about our relationship first with ourselves and second with others and then the world. And I'm sharing this with you specifically because when health topics come up in my office, we're talking about a self-value. People are going through this motion of pleasing everyone else and not recognizing or being gracious enough with themselves. And it starts with self-love or this perception that they need to be a certain way to have or experience this. And some of it's from that emptiness of self-love, meaning we overlook our gifts, we overlook our talents, and we overlook what we're capable of developing and becoming and how well we're already doing in many areas or some areas. So my question is, where are you or have you been the last to know about something that's great about you and everyone else sees it around you, but you won't accept that you have it or that you're capable or that it is really something you're good at? Because either you don't allow yourself to, you don't believe it to be true, or you simply deny it. You simply deny it. You deny that it's even true because of your belief system. So anyway, I share this. I struggle with this at times, and I'm becoming more aware of it, which is actual progress. But my question for you is, where do you see it? Where are you ignoring or denying the fact that maybe your spouse or significant other or your kids or your workmates see this about you and you don't allow that to be real? And it actually prevents you from growing and from expanding who you really are. What I've noticed about myself is that when I stop being so hard on myself, which was a pattern of behavior that got me to do certain things in my life, that give me drive. And it was something I learned at a young age to leverage my energy. Because as I was back as a kid asking my dad, hey, am I going to be able to go to college? Am I going to be able to go to college? I have 6 other siblings, and that was one of the things I asked my dad early on. And I just knew I wanted to get an education. I wanted to move my life in that direction because I wanted to have choices. And so I leveraged and I learned, like we all learn, how to navigate through our life. And we developed strategies and skill sets along the way. But as I did that, I developed a bad habit in there, which was destructive in terms of how I motivated myself. And my self-talk and my leverage was very hard on me. I wouldn't talk to somebody else in this fashion. And the vulnerability there is, it's literally held me back in many areas of my life because I would be hard on myself when something either didn't go right the first time or the second or the third time, or when there was a wasteful resources. How many of us have ever bought something, an educational tool, books, whatever it might be, a program, and not really used it, not even used it at all? And what do you do after that? You kick yourself in the butt, and you just maybe even browbeat yourself in terms of how you talk to yourself. But moral of the story with that is we carry a negative connotation, and it's very damaging on the undertone of what we think about ourselves. Now, there's this balance between thinking of ourselves and loving ourselves, which I'm learning and growing into. And there's this point where we can still love ourselves. We can, we do to some degree, but yet we're really not showing compassion for ourselves. We're not showing that appreciation, that forgiveness like you'd show a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old who's growing and learning through life. It's like not scolding your child when they fall down, when they're learning to walk. I mean, you know they're going to learn to walk. You know they're going to walk. It's just a matter of time and repetition and their body growing into that. But that's how they learn. And so as adults, we're still learning that way. And so in some level, I've created this unconscious belief of that failure is bad, or that failing is bad, or that there's this judgment that goes along with making an attempt at something and looking or feeling foolish. We know this is true when it's about, giving speeches. None of us want to look foolish, so we have this fear of being judged by others. Well, guess what? I'm going to say things on a podcast, on a show that's going to rub somebody the wrong way. I get it. And my ability, my voice, just like your voice, because this is not about me. This is about what I have to say as a result of my heartfelt and my soul's journey to express how to help people solve problems with healthcare that we deal with every single day and we struggle with. And this is one of them. It's being the last to know how extraordinary you are. It's not understanding how incredibly designed you are and how much of an incredible healer you are. But unless you know that, and if you're the last to know, then it's hard to experience your best life. So my gift, my message, my value add for you is wake up and be the first to know. Start today by allowing yourself to know how fantastic you are and created, that you have everything inside of you to be and express health, that your body is a natural healer. You just need a chance. It's not wishing there's no weeds and being overly optimistic to a fault. There's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. And you turn around, you look down, yet there are still weeds. You can't talk yourself out of the weeds. However, when we shift our mind to what we're capable of and we start to focus on resonating and vibrating with the consciousness that's higher, that source of intelligence, you now are aligning and you're going to create what's coherent. And coherence is where your body is manifesting a higher level of frequency. And then you start attracting different things. So you can, over time, manifest, so to speak, weed growing and how that works. And so I don't have all the answers to that, but we know the capacity is there, and we will have different conversations in depth about what science shows us about mind to matter. For a great book on that right now, you could go check out Dawson Church and look at the book Mind to Matter. You can get it on Audible. You can find it on Amazon. Great book. That's a good headsy one. There's plenty of research in there that supports how our brain state and our brain waves manifest certain things. And so if we can start to align with healing brain waves, and if we can start to align with that greater consciousness, then you start to not only be who you know you are, but you can align the being and the knowing. And so now, what is the value of actually not being the last to know? Well, if you start accepting who you are and some of that greatness, that's a sign of self-compassion and self-love. And you need a basis for that. You need to communicate with yourself like you're a child, and you're not going to yell at him. I mean, I'm incredibly... I'll notice I'll be going through something tasking, and all of a sudden I'll have this thought, and it's hard on myself. It's a lack of patience. It's a lack of tolerance. And there's times when it's really there, and there's times when it's not there at all. And then I look at that, and I become aware and go, am I tired? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling a little urgent, a little overwhelmed? Yes. Those are the states. I'm short with myself. I'm a little terse. And I'm less patient, much less compassionate to really discompassionate. And so that translates into our relationships. When you see that piece and you start to first just become aware of it, that's progress. That's my challenge for you today. Just start becoming aware of what that means. And how that manifests into your health, here is the connection. It manifests into your health because you can't have an undertone of frustration or holes in self-love and expect your body to manifest health. You're manifesting exactly that vibration. you're experiencing that vibration. In upcoming episodes, I will divulge more information and greater vulnerability as we go. This is an evolutionary podcast. It will only get better. And right now, there's a voice discovery. There's this, I'm willing to say and share here, but I'm still not quite certain in those areas. But here's what I guarantee. I will continue to add value. And whether it's one person that gets value from this or 10,000, I'm committed to putting it out there. Because my intention is to help people solve problems they deal with every day and they think they're isolated. So this is how it ties into patient care. I can't just adjust somebody back into alignment and not offer them a window into where that misalignment pattern is coming from. That's part of my job. That's part of my role, is I get to see that picture. For me to recognize my gifts and not have to make excuses for them, that's what I wish for you. And guess what? I have tried to protect the people around me because of how I see things, because I want to be fair to all my colleagues. And I'm not here throwing anyone under the bus, but I'm also here recognizing that I can't continue to try to protect everyone else. I have to share my gifts with the world, and I have to share them with people that actually want to be well. People that want this message will find it. That's it. And my value is it helps me express it. It's good for me to express it. More on that later. Hopefully you found value. Your challenge this week or today is to listen. Look at your gifts like you were somebody else. Look at what you're good at and acknowledge it and be okay with acknowledging it. Don't shove it under and downplay it. Catch yourself, if you are, catch yourself downplaying it and just become aware of that. Become aware that you are not giving yourself the credit you deserve, and you actually, you don't only deserve it, it's essential for you to build on your contribution, because you have something to contribute and you have great value to this world. You're still here, and there is a connection that we all seek and we all struggle with every day. So like you, I struggle with those. I'm in and out. I'm off and on. I'm in the groove. I'm out of the groove. I'm resonating higher. I'm resonating lower. It's all part of that natural process. This is not like guru land, like, hey, this is what I always do. In fact, I am a classic at stumbling and falling and drifting backwards and going through the drift and the shift and whatnot. So catch yourself of these mental, emotional games, and we'll have more information down the road in terms of like strategizing systems, how to do it. But just awareness is key. Just know that you don't want to be the last to know your gifts. And it's okay. Some of us place humility and value on that. Like, oh, yeah, I'll just downplay it. One of my mentors basically years ago said, oh, well, hey, Dr. Anderson, thanks so much. Man, it's so great not having headaches. Thanks for helping me. Or, my migraines are gone, or my low back pain's gone. I feel amazing. Now I'm back working out again. Oh, shucks, golly gee, it wasn't me. It was just Nate on the job. Nate, in other words, for innate, your innate ability. And it was like discrediting any part of my work or the doctor's work involved in it. It's like truth, doctors don't heal, people do. But what I get to do is be a conduit to align the greater consciousness in the body and remove interference that is actually interfering with that person, that body's expression of health. That's it. I'm not like building blocks, taking a vertebra and putting it back in place. Theoretically, that's the way it was described for years. What I'm actually doing is neurologically reintegrating this communication system so that the whole system reboots and is now more connected, and thereby has a different lens with which to see itself. In other words, it recognizes itself in its environment with more clarity. It's like cleaning the lenses on your glasses. The picture's different, which means the interpretation is different in the brain, which means there's different outcomes as a result. So this two-way communication is very complex, but not complicated. So it's a simple thing that makes a huge difference in the body's ability to perceive itself in its environment and have greater adaptive mechanisms going. That's why performance goes up. That's why the immune response is directly related to your nerve system. And that's why organ systems improve, like evacuation, assimilation, digestion, absorption, ability to tolerate. All these things can be influenced through quality chiropractic care, but it also takes a provider that's recognizing where that is. So recognize your value. Recognize your value in the equation today, that you have value. Love yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and catch yourself when you're not. That's progress, and you can grow from that. You're going to become more conscious in the process, and you will find more reasons to be grateful for who you are and what you offer the world. Until next time, my friends, have an awesome day. As always, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this week's episode, and I look forward to our next time. Okay, my fellow health warriors, it's time to head over to iTunes, frankly speaking, drwade.com. There, you can rate, review, and subscribe, as well as share, so more of our brothers and sisters can grow to realize their voice and their health. Speaking up means you matter. We'll see you next time.